Right, hello and welcome to this impromptu Stampscapes Live. We're going to try this alien swing set type of thing here. Kind of along the lines, as I mentioned in the description, of a little kind of, I don't know what it is, a motif or image of these little ghosts on swing sets. I don't know, look it up. You'll see a bunch of examples of that. Cute little kind of Halloween scenarios. And I thought I would try it here. I really like that look of it, so I thought that might be interesting. I'm going to go with the larger Art Foamies tree trunk here. You can use the smaller one. That would be quite sufficient for this size. Maybe I'll use both. I'll go for a slightly larger one here, and then a smaller one for the other side. And what we'll do is we'll flank this piece of vintage cardstock. Well, it's not cardstock, it's a vintage paper. It's just a real thin text weight. It comes in 8.5 by 11. You'll find tons of different types of these, like on Amazon or whatever. They're, I don't know, meant for printing like documents and kind of having an interesting look to it, you know, kind of an aged, weathered look. But for scenic stamping, they're really great because it has a warm tinge to it. And, well, it's an 8.5 by 11, and it has kind of a vignette around the perimeter. When you cut it down, you know, that kind of dark side is only going to be on one corner, typically. And you can just use whatever corner you want. But on this type of paper, it pretty much accepts any type of ink, so you can alter the ink by adding in whatever shading you want to on here. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking about here. This alien right here, it kind of looks like it could be on a little swing set, you know, or something like that. And I'll have it kind of coming in from a branch up above, okay? And then, just, you know, to make it an extra kind of little Halloween-ish, we'll add in one of my pre-stamped full moons here. And I think we have this little print of an alien, I mean a ghost on a swing set. Maybe I'll try to have this kind of in between, you know, the ropes of the swing. Now, for the ropes of the swing, let's see. I was going to go with the Spanish moss branches in here. I think I'm gonna go. I might use those as well, but what we'll do is we'll use maybe this larger branch right here, about like so. Maybe I'll go with the larger one here. Let me say, I can't use too much of it, though, I'm looking at right here, because I have that moon in here, so, Oh, I tell you what I'll do is I'll just go for this branch right here, and I won't color in this lower one like that, and we'll go kind of like right across here like so. Something like that. We'll figure it out. I just won't use that lower portion. So, with Scenic Stamping Designs, or at least Stampscapes, I design these stamps to be used in their entirety with other sibling designs, and especially in smaller portions. Okay. So, I am just going to go with, I'm looking right there, and I'm just trying to kind of generally pair it up with that. And I'm thinking about where those ropes will come down for the swing. Let's go with about like this right here. Okay, now remember, I just didn't color in this lower portion right here. And I normally would if I wasn't working with the with that full moon. Hello, Sharita. Hello, Cynthia. How are you both doing today? Okay, so there's our branch right here, and then we'll have maybe some additional branches coming in. I better wait, because we have some significant kind of parts of this scene. I might not have room in this really small quarter-page card for too many images. Let's add in the shadow work in here now. Okay, so I'm going to make this a little bit darker in the background. We'll vignette it and give it a moonlit look. Okay. Smashing this down, kind of making it a little bit easier to work with. Oh, yeah, the World Series. Well, this card right here shouldn't take too long. In fact, we're almost done. I need to be done by, pretty soon. I have to drive my son over to his night class tonight. It's not for a while, though. Okay, so here's a little bit of shadow work right here, okay? Because we're going to have the moon right here, casting those shadows. So you can see I have it at a bit of an angle. Maybe the moon should be over here, actually. Nah, but then I'm going to have those lines coming down. It's going to have to be centered. And then the swing is going to be really quite wide in here, so... just to fit the moon. Some dramatic moments in the World Series, especially that first game, of course. But the second game, with the bases loaded, in that ninth. All right, let's see here. I'm kind of bringing this over like that. And we'll bring this lower portion over too. Cotton ball with the hybrid ink here. And I'm going to add in some extra branches. I just want to see where the moon is going to eventually be located, along with the swing and everything like that. But I felt that this glow-in-the-dark moon, this greenish kind of tinge to it, I thought it paired reasonably well with this background paper. As a matter of fact, I might see if I can just kind of add in a little bit of shading to this moon as well, just so it isn't quite so stark. All right, it's not white, but you know, that greenish tinge. Yeah, okay, I haven't done this with these moons yet, but I can add in this extra little tone on them, I see, with the cotton ball. It's kind of dry brushing it on here. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. So it's a little bit more varied than like this one right here. Okay. It looks like I need to do this on all of them, and I think it looks a lot better just with having some of that grayscale tone in there. Yeah, there we go. It looks a little bit more, kind of integrated in there. All right, so that being said, let's bring a little bit more tone around where that moon is going to go, I think. At least up here in this upper section here to give it a little bit of a glow to it. The Dodgers, if any team was going to be my team in baseball, it'd be the Dodgers. I grew up in Central California, and, it's 2.5 hours from Los Angeles. But that area in Central California is, we got all the stations that we got were the Southern California stations. So the LA ones, based ones, you know, in terms of the larger networks. And then I had a friend that was a, you know, pretty big Dodger fan, so I'd go to different games with them, you know, when I was living in Los Angeles. I'm more of a basketball fan historically, but, you know, just in general, the LA teams, because that's what we just grew up watching. All right, so see that right there? We're getting a little bit heavier. There's that little tinge of darkness around in there, and that's where that moon will kind of fit right in there. Like about like so. So I've left a little bit of a glow out there. Like that. Let's go a little bit heavier at top here. If you go a little bit darker around something that's supposed to be light, then it looks a little bit lighter by contrast. All right, so this is giving me a pretty, you know, decent, really soft application of color. I usually haven't, you know, colored with cotton balls before, and maybe it's because it's, you know, I'm using kind of a thicker type of ink. Black pigment ink would have been fine too. Oil-based or water-based doesn't really matter, I don't think, on this type of paper because it's a completely matte paper, so it'll absorb and dry your thicker style of surface-oriented pigment inks by absorption as well as you know, evaporation. But they usually have to absorb a little bit. Which is why on the non-porous papers, the oil-based ones just, you know, they don't really work as far as drying on those types of surfaces. But on this, you know, type of cheap paper like this, it's no problem. Okay, so reiterating that lighting with the texture stamp here, this rock, tiny rock small. See in the background, I'm going with some really, really dry impressions back there. You hit it kind of in the darker areas with your freshly inked stamp like this and hit it in there first. And then as it gets either lighter in here, it's getting drier. But I usually go from dark to light, from low to high, like that. Just in general, things in the background are usually a little bit lighter or a lot lighter than things in the foreground. That, what that does is it pushes depth. So that being said, now that I said that, I think, oh man, see, I'd like to put some branches right back in here, but I can't do that. Otherwise the moon is going to be in front of the branches. So, but what I can do though, this is like one lone branch and it looks kind of awkward like that. One of the things we might do is we might kind of put some additional branches up here, like in this area, but I don't want them dark, so maybe I'll just stamp them out lighter if I can do that, if I can, you know, kind of control that a little bit. So let's see. We'll mask off some of the trees right here, or the trunks, like so. Okay. Undermask a little bit so that some of the, you know, branch goes into the tree. That way you don't have this gap in between the branch and the tree, you know, where it didn't stamp out. Sometimes I still get it and I got to fill it in with like a, I don't know, in this case, I'd probably use a colored pencil, but, you know, do whatever techniques we have to avoid any additional work that might be needed. Okay, so I stamped it out once, stamped it out in the second impression, and It's stamped out a little bit lighter, but I think that's adequate right there. So we get these lighter tones like that in the background. And I think that looks pretty decent, like so. All right. Let's see, how about up there maybe too? Couple more days for until Halloween. And maybe that's it for maybe the most part, at least, of with the majority of the ghoulish scenes for this year. All right, let's see. I think I need some additional. That looks pretty good in there. It's like that, get that look to it. Let's go with. I don't know about that. Let's do. Let's go a little bit darker on the perimeter. I have a lot of this area out here that it's looking kind of bare to me. So let's darken it up a little bit and just kind of use it as framing. See how much darker it is right there? Kind of using this like this, it gives me the feel of almost like working with charcoals or something like that, where you're drawing with charcoals and then you go back into it with a cloth or something like that, and you spread the charcoal around. That's what it feels like to me, and that's what it kind of looks like to me even. Except instead of a dry media, this is a little bit wet, but I'm still approaching it like kind of almost like a dry medium here. Hello, Froggy Fresh. Hello, Catherine. How's everyone? Is everyone ready with their costumes for Halloween? For when you go trick-or-treating? All right, so a little bit darker, like so. So I'm normally not stamping out, some alien on a swing set here. So right in the background here, I'm thinking it would be really nice to have like another, like a tree trunk here in like a lighter tone in the background. And I think that would look pretty cool. I guess I could still do that, but I'd have to do it like really, really light, and I don't know if I'd, I don't know if I'd have that much control over it. I can go with like a thinner one though too. A tree trunk trio or something. Here's Art Foamy's version. But I don't know. I think I might need a much clearer, because, that swing set right here that's going to come down like this. I mean, those are just like two little thin lines, So if I don't have that contrast between the lines of the rope or whatever and the background, it might just kind of obscure a little bit. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. So anyway, let's get to that here. And if this comes out okay, this will be like a really fast scene. We'll add a little bit of a atmosphere to this too. But okay, let me see what this is going to look like. I figure this kind of looks like he's sitting on a could be on a like a swing or getting on a swing. It's not like sitting though. Yeah, like that. And I'll put the line up there, like on the side, like that. Let's do the swing set test here. Okay, so if we put right underneath here like that, and the lines will be like this, I guess. The rope would be a little bit thinner. I think I'll do it. We're making do here, so, you know, as far as like a, you know, like ghost on a swing set. I do have this lady that's like sitting down. As far as an image goes. But I'd have to like do her like, you know, if it's going to be like a Halloween type of image, I'd have to like stamp her out like she's sitting on top of like a swing set, but I wouldn't color in her head or something like that. So it's like a headless, you know, person. Go about like so. Okay. And maybe it should have been a little bit lower. This is like a Stampscapes lab, so it's you know, we're testing out here. I mean, if I stamped it a little bit lower, I think. I was wondering. Nah, that'll be fine. Okay, let me see here. That moon is almost like, it's almost too much or too big in there. Let's see if I put it right there. Okay, so if I put it right there, I guess I could put the line in front of it. I could put this rope coming from right over here. I think that moon looks better there. It's just, it's too close to his head right here. In the painting that I'm kind of referencing, it's like way up here, you know, but this is like a quarter-page card, so it's like really small. All right, we're doing a little bit of a change of compositional arrangement here. Let's put the moon right there. And then, yeah, let's do that. Let's put it right there right now. I'm putting it over these tree branches, but those tree branches are so light you can't really see them. And this will serve the purpose that that tree branch was doing, which was filling in an empty area. But I need a little bit of a breathing room in between my whatever subject of the scene and the light source, like that. Okay. It cracks me up. The scenario here. Okay, so let's see here. Someone did a person on a swing using that woman image. I think it was, I forgot who it was, Deanna or something like that. All right, so I just have a triangle here. And do I just draw it in right here? Or do I, should I do a preliminary pencil? I don't even have a pencil on my desk here. Let me see if this is a pencil. All right, we're going to be a little bit safe here. I'm going to do a graphite, you know, pencil drawing in here first. Sharita's wearing the same costume I wear every year. Were you guys all in here when we were talking about candies? It's like, what's everyone's like favorite candy? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, so the line, we'll do it like that and that. So I'm going to do right there, about like so. And I'm trying to think of just about how thick I want to make this seat here. I guess I don't know if you can see it, but I have a couple little lines right there. And let's see I'll put the swing set like that. Let's see, let's even them out a little bit more. So what I'm doing is I'm doing these lines like this. And I think I'm going to do these like parallel like that. I think that'll be the best thing. I mean, in reality, they'd probably go out a little bit in perspective like that. Maybe that would look better. Let me see. Yeah, maybe. Okay, now that I look at that, I think that looks okay. We'll do this right here. Now, this is just like a little fine-tuning thing. I'm just doing it because it's like going back to what was it, like perspective or something like that. I never took that class, but we learned perspective in certain classes, and if I don't get that right, I don't know. I might get like an F on the project. Okay, so anyways, it's in here. That swing is going to be, I was going to say it's going to be black, but maybe I should have some of this moonlight on it now that I think about it. All right. We're doing a little fine tuning here. Why not? It's like, how many times am I going to be drawing this eraser doesn't even work. It's like hard as a rock. Here, let's just get this drawn in here. It's like I'm not drawing swings. I don't know. I'm probably spending a little bit more time on it than really needs to be done here. All right. Forgive my head in here. I've got to look over the top of this right here just so I can make sure that I'm on the line. This pen's like barely working. I hardly ever use it. I think it's from it's probably from the mid 90s, I think. All right, there we go, like that. And we'll go like this. And then I'm using this right here just so I can go up here and get that, that straighter kind of angle on there. Here, let me go like this. Put this up here. And, oh, that's a beveled edge. Here, this is a flat edge like that. So I can go like this, and I'll just go like this right here. And here, this will go right up to, I need to make it a little bit thicker, but this will just be a preliminary rope line. Like that, right? That's why aliens have come to visit. They don't have swings on Mars or wherever. All right, I think I need a thicker, let me see. I need a little bit of thicker pen here. Let me see. Here's a gel pen right here. Let me see if this thing's still working. Black gel pen. All right, the other one was a ballpoint. All right, now let's see if I can get this right on that line there. I do have a UFO stamp and a cow stamp. The abduction scene. I did that on I did that alien abduction, that scene on, I think it was a printable holographic sticker paper a couple years ago. I need to do it again though because I have the alien, like the UFO stamp now. Where during the live stream, I think I just kind of drew like a ship, like a flying saucer-y looking one. And I don't know, just cut it out or something like that. All right, again, forgive my head if it's obstructing the view here. Okay, like that. I'll do this rope kind of like it's wrapping around that branch up top there like that. And let's see. I need to tone that really narrow strip of the swing if I can. Let's go like this. And we'll go like this here. And I need one more here. I don't even know if I can get the cotton ball in between these pieces of paper right here. Okay, let's give it a try here. Here's that black. All right. I don't know if that needed to be done, but it kind of varies, transitions the swing a little bit from something a little bit darker on this side to lighter on this side where the moon is, you know, kind of casting its light like that. So it just kind of reiterates kind of lighting in there a little bit, like so. And let's see here. All right, let's do some additional shadow work. Let's not do it with this anymore. Let's go with the black colored pencil here. Swedish fish. I was just looking at those Swedish fish somewhere, and I thought about getting that. Let me see. I'm going back up into your notes here. Froggy Fresh. I'm not passing out candy this year. I'm passing out costume accessories. You're kidding me. Wow. That's interesting. I tell you just had a bunch of costumes, huh? That you had collected then, and you're passing out the components of those, huh? Swedish fish, I got them today. You've never had them before. How's that, Froggy Fresh? Okay, so let's put a little bit of I don't know if this looks like this alien's up there in the swing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this shadow like underneath here, like that, and it's not touching like the feet there. See that little gap there? So maybe it'll look like he's kind of hovering a little bit or like getting into the swing. And we'll create a shadow being cast by the alien like this. And kind of moving out in the direction of the shadow like that, or the moving out in the direction of the light source, casting the shadow like that. I don't know how that shadow would look with that shape of that alien down here. I just kind of fake it. And it probably doesn't look like that because it looks a little bit awkward, but we'll blend all this in. Okay, now let me get with the... Now, I mean, I probably could have done all this toning here completely with the colored pencil, and the colored pencil really goes really fast, too. So, you know, all that shadow work with this, you know, I don't know, you can do it with that or do it with both like this or one or the other. One of the things I need to think about is if I'm going to add in any additional objects in here. At this point in time, I could add some things in the background, I think, and which I might do, or I might try to, just to make it a little bit more interesting. But let's get in some additional foreground here now. Before I go too much further, I like to add in a little bit of my shadow work in here sometimes before I add in my additional foreground images, just to keep them nice and crisp. Sometimes though, if you're going with the colored pencil down here, our imagery doesn't adhere to it quite as much because that, you know, that colored pencil is wax, but I don't know. I don't think I need to worry about that too much here. This hybrid ink or pigment inks that you would be using are pretty thick. And if you're not if you were worried about it kind of not adhering, you can always stamp it on there and then spray seal it too. So I do this kind of stamp it like this, then I kind of do additional impressions of it like that. Then I went over it again, maybe a little bit lower, just to kind of fill this in. And just to kind of, you can make it completely symmetrical like this and have an opening right in the middle, but I kind of gave this a little bit more of a, kind of a differently weighted foreground. So this one goes out to about 2/3, and this one right here is, I don't know, like a quarter distance or something like that with a, I don't know, it's probably 2, 3, 4 maybe impressions of it right over here, something like that. All right, let's see. Yeah, here we go. I hope this was right on my table, so I won't have to go looking for it. Let's put a couple of these, or maybe one tree in the background, and maybe some other things. We'll see. I'm kind of just getting the gist of what a second impression might look like, okay? So I'm doing one impression like that pretty firmly, and then I'm going to wipe off the bottom of this a little bit so that this is a really dry impression. And I'm going to put it right here in the background. And hopefully it's just really light enough to where it just looks like a background type of thing. Yeah, that looks really good. See, it's not interfering with the strength of this main image, the silhouette of it. Okay, now that looks good there to me. So what I'll do is I'll do it again. I stamped it out there because that was kind of a safe place. If it's stamped out a little bit darker, it's kind of off to the side, but I'll put another one right here now. Okay, so just stamp it off and then wipe off the bottom like so. And we'll go, let's see, this right here. Go like that. All right, so just something off in the background. Now, I think with that moon in there, I think it could handle some atmospherics. So let's add in, and let me see, I'm looking at this. There's not a lot to this one, so I like to get kind of the little details and everything like that kind of a little bit stronger in here. So let's go with a little bit of a stronger kind of rock textures in here. Kind of going against my shadow. See, my shadow is kind of awkward in here. So I'm just balancing it off a little bit more with some impressions of this little pebbly rock stamp that are a little bit darker, okay? Like that. Let's go like that, okay? And then, let's see here. Our main little subject there is going to be really important in terms of a whatever visual landing spot. Hello, Bonnie. You're doing dishes, housework is never done. I hear you about that, huh? It's like forever, you know, whatever, piled up, you know. The to-do list. All right, so there's our little alien. There's our alien eyes like that. A little bit stronger. Now let's go in and let's see if we can, this paper can handle, I think I've done the white on here before, but it's usually when I do like a white moon instead of like a glow-in-the-dark moon, but I think this white will be fine with that color of the moon like that. And let's see if we can add in that extra kind of lighting and texture in here. Planet Earth. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, that's a great idea, Froggy Fresh. Yeah, it's like the alien on their own planet, huh? Then you could do anything you want on here, you know. It could be anything kind of really funky. Okay, let's see what we can do here. I have a feeling this is going to really stand out, but if we add in enough of it, it might kind of, you know, harmonize and kind of make sense. So let's see, I'll just add it really slow. Maybe it's too slow. My white pad is really, really dry. And again, maybe that's for the best. See, it's just kind of like really barely visible right here. I like to do it kind of at the base of my trees. It's a little bit trickier to me doing it on paper that is really pretty absorbent because I don't want to add too much of this. You know, if I add too much of it on like a lot of other papers, I can just kind of wipe off what I don't want. On here, it's kind of absorbed into the paper and it's really affixed and almost dried almost right after I apply it in there. So if I do that, and if it looks too dark though, all you need to do is just go back in with your, you know, I don't know, wherever it went, the black colored pencil and just kind of darken it back in again, you know, just to tweak it. Then if you go too dark with the black colored pencil, you can just go back over it with some more white pigment ink and you know, you can just kind of, you know, add additional layers into it until you get kind of the look that you're going after, or that looks good. Sometimes you don't know what you're going after until you kind of get there, which is often the case with me. Right, so that right in there. We have it right here, so I'm putting it right here, right here. I like to oscillate my use of kind of shadows and texture, lighting, etc. Like here, here, and I'll try to get some right back in here too. It's a really kind of narrow area, so you can just kind of squeeze your cotton ball where it's a little bit more narrow. Like that. What it's doing is it's kind of putting more of this kind of moonlight into the whatever, the environment, okay? Because it stands to reason, you know, if you have that type of thing up in the sky like that, it would be, you know, casting its light on the surrounding area. And then remember when I stamped the leafless limbs tree, I kind of wiped off the bottom, and it kind of inherently looks like it's just in mist like that because it trails off like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going in and kind of reiterating that idea of, you know, those trees standing in kind of like some low-lying fog or mist like that. One of the things that could have been good too, if I knew I was going to put that moon back there, I mean, you know, maybe I could have done it after, but I would have put some of this right back in this area before I applied the moon in there, and that would have given it a little bit of a glow around the moon like that. Okay, let's see. Let's do this too. So I'm looking at that moon and see all these features on there. You know, it was just stamped out in black ink, and I added a little bit of tone of black around in there. Well, let's see if I can add a little bit of white onto it too, so we can vary the features a little bit and soften up some of them. I don't remember doing this. I might have done it on another one of these recently, but I'm not sure if I did, but I think that could potentially benefit the look. Because if you kind of give this moon, at least not over the whole thing, but part of it, a little bit of a softer light, it kind of makes more sense that this light being reflected, you know, this mist, is of the same type of light. So see in there, it's a little bit softer, so it's casting that kind of softer light like that. Okay, now one thing I notice here, you know, just like with all other types of thin applications of this pigment, when it dries, it's getting darker. So what you do is you just kind of build it up a little bit more. Like that. That's not going to be as light as it looks right there, okay? It'll probably dry and get a little bit more transparent and lighter. Okay. By the way, so this pigment ink on the moon, that moon is a printable vinyl sticker paper. So I don't know, I don't think like I mean, it's such a thin layer that it might not matter, but some of the other types of white pigment inks that are oil-based, I don't know if it's going to dry on there, okay? But I mean, it's such a thin layer of it, it might not have any problem drying, so just keep that in mind. The printable vinyls are designed for water-based media. It'd be kind of interesting to give that alien like a couple like crystal little eyes. You know, the clear crystals. I have the shape of the eyes more like an oval, not like a little circle, but I think it would work in a, you know, whatever scenario. Any Inky Bliss Creations. I haven't seen that. Lisa Taggart, you came up in my suggestion. Oh, no, I haven't. I'll have to check her out. Her channel's Inky Bliss, or is it under Lisa Taggart? Okay, so let's see here. Let's add in a little bit of a crisp but subtle reflective light in here for from our moonlight. About like so. But thanks for, you know, checking out the channel, Bonnie, too, from seeing that link pop up. Great to have you. Okay, now see, this is like little, you know, I don't know, whatever shimmering reflective light on the surface. It doesn't stand out too much like that. Okay. Now this pen too, when it dries, it gets a little bit darker than what it looks like than when it's been freshly applied. So, and we'll do some bottom light lit branches right here. And see, I'm kind of adding that around the moon right there, and we'll do it on this side of the moon tree facing the moonlight, like about like that. Let me see here. I have a little bit of this. I think it's this color right here. There's a little bit of a slightly darker, yeah, slightly darker kind of beigeish tone. Okay, now this one right here, I think I used that one up completely. But I just bought a new set. See, some of these little white dots right here, it stands out a little bit, or quite a bit by contrast, because this paper that I'm working on, this vintage paper, it doesn't have any white in it, okay? Where normally I'm working on like a piece of paper that has some white on it or elements of white. Okay, this is my first time using this new pen. These pens are extremely reasonable now. I thought they were reasonable at $1 each, but I think it went to like 30 cents each now in the set. It was so crazy that I bought a new set because I'm out of some of these colors right here. All right, but yeah, this little bit of a warmer, darker tinge like that. So see, I can get some of these little highlights on here, and I can put more of them if the pen is a little bit darker, and plus it harmonizes with that background pretty well, in that this is a little bit of a warmer color. Just like the background, you know, vintage paper. All right, so see that right there? Kind of makes things a little bit, you know, stand out a little bit more. That's a little bit too much now. But like I said, it'll get a little bit, you know, more transparent, or, you know, it'll move towards transparency. When it dries dark, like that. But see, what I do is you just kind of add it down, and what I'm always saying is don't be afraid to kind of go a little bit overboard, or as much overboard as you want, because like the pen that I just laid down, if I go too dark, I can just kind of tint some of these dots. It doesn't mean I'm like coloring them out, but I'm knocking them down like, you know, a value or two, or however much you want. You can make it all the way to black if you want to. See this right here? I'm just going right over here. I'm not doing all of them, but it looks a little bit more, this one up top here, I don't like that. I want that like darker like that. This branch here was kind of added into this tree, so I'll kind of merge it with the tree a little bit more with darkness like that on that side. So I'll balance it off a little bit more. Darkness on the perimeter right here. And let's do a little bit of a stronger bottom, left and right corner vignette. if you make your corners a lot, quite a bit darker, it kind of frames the scene off a little bit more, and it kind of directs the viewer's eye into the compositions more. It doesn't have to be, landscapes or anything like that. Scenic stamping. It could be like a word stamp or any kind of main subject of your piece. So throw that little vignette on there and just make it darker according, It's like, the darker you go, kind of it contains it a little bit more. And you don't have to have one vignette too. You can have like two subjects. It could be like a word stamp or something like that, and some other type of subject down below. But if you kind of give them a little bit of a halo, it connects them too, but it really kind of brings the viewer's kind of attention inward too. It kind of draws them in a little bit more because it's like this distance too. The darker it looks out here, the closer it looks, and then it kind of funnels the eye in there. Or funnels the, whatever, the attention, I guess. All right, so anyways, I think that is it. I need that little ghost, though, that little cute little ghost, like swinging here. If I did that little cute little ghost, I'd probably have to, it's like a little white little ghost. You can see it, just type in on Google or something like that, ghost and swing set. There's like a gazillion images of those that pop up. My wife showed it to me. She says, yeah, there's this like motif of these little ghosts on swings that she's seen all over. So, and indeed, I looked and it's like, oh, yeah, it looks really cool. I thought we can do something like that. But yeah, a little white little ghost. So if I was doing a little, if I was doing a little white little ghost, and something like this, it'd be awesome. So these are the glow-in-the-dark sticker paper, or you can draw a little ghost on this and cut it out or something like that. But I would stamp it onto the vinyl sticker paper, the glow-in-the-dark vinyl sticker paper, so that when you have the glow-in-the-dark moon and a little glow-in-the-dark ghost, those two elements would be glowing in a scene. I think that would be really fun. So I'll have to think about that in the future, or I don't know, draw a little ghost that can go in a swing set or something like that. Yeah. Dodgers. Froggy Fresh, you're into you want the Dodgers, huh? Who's your team? Or is it just that is anyone, are you pro Dodgers or, anti-Yankees or something like that? Or with the series? Oh, thanks, Bonnie. 2-0 LA 2-run home run. Oh my God, LA's up again, huh? That is insane. My favorite World Series was that '88 Dodgers team with that Kirk Gibson home run. That was a team. It was against the A's, was it? Like Murderers Row, kind of, with all those home run hitters on that team, McGuire and what was his name? Canseco, I think. And then that pitching staff was really good. Eckersley. And it's just the Dodgers were such a scrappy team. And I was watching, I think I might have been watching on a 12-inch black and white TV or something like that in my school days. And I wasn't in the dorms at that time. I was in my apartment. I think I was watching that game. But one of those big moments in sports, that triggers an emotional response. You can go to with baseball, you can go to, 20 other games and, 50 sometimes and, not experience that kind of like a drama, To me, baseball's like going to a picnic, especially if you're going to a live game, which I always like doing, just kind of kicking back outside and whatever. And you might kind of run into kind of a dramatic moment, but most of them, it's just kind of like really relaxing. All right. Have a good watch there, Cynthia. Yeah, I'm going to be checking out the scores myself here. Hello, Caroline. Yeah, you missed the first time an alien has ever been on a swing set in the moonlight in the history of rubber stamping, maybe. This is, I was doing a little scene kind of inspired by those little ghosts you see on like swing sets, that have, I don't know if it was just this year, if they've been out there before. So, oh, the Brooklyn Dodgers. Right, right. Hello, Linda. Yeah, ghost on a swing set, but I don't have a ghost, so I went with the alien there. I guess you can have. That alien, I guess, could be a ghost if you stamp it in white ink. It would look like, I don't know what it would look like. It would look like more like some kind of like weird entity, the plasma man or something like that, if you did it in dark things. But I just wanted to see what that would look like. Deanna did. I think she was the one that did that woman sitting down, and she put her, I think, in a swing set in a nighttime situation. But I wanted to see what I could do here in a kind of a quick scene with the alien here. The alien, I just chose the alien because it looked like he could kind of be sitting or something like that. Let me see something like this too. I'm going to make that shadow underneath him a little bit darker like that. Just so it looks like he's more kind of like hovering above that ground there, like he's just like scooting onto it or something like that. I mean, it'd be better if he had his arms up here, on the lines, but he just got to Earth and he doesn't know how to swing, but he was intrigued. First swing of a species here. Season was in the 90s when Jeff Bagwell played with the Oakland A's. Do I remember that? I don't remember that time period. It was the oh God, I can't remember some of those pitchers' names at this point in time on Oakland. Some really great pitchers came through there, huh? Oh my gosh, I already figured out their names. I don't know. I'm luckily I remember some certain things anyways. It's always those sports moments that had like a big moment, that I remember. All right, folks, I'll get this thing matted off. I think it's a pretty fun little scenario here. I like this look though here of just the trees in here. No matter what I put in here, I'll have to do this again some other time. But I really like this kind of this vintage paper look here, and like a full moon. I mean, you can do it with just white pigmenting too, with that stencil like that. You can have a full moon in the background with something like that. But I like the atmospherics of this, this thing going back in the distance and doing these lighter impressions on here. It really makes for a really fast scene. And I think the white ink on here looks just fine on top of a paper that doesn't have any white in it, just by, the use of the white up there, or the lighter tone up there. And I mean, this one right here, I mean, it just happens to be the glow in the dark, so you have this little extra little touch to the scene. If, someone put your pieces on display and they flip off the light, then it's like, oh, that piece was glow in the dark. I didn't know it or whatever. So I think it looks pretty good, but a little bit of a tinting around on here with some additional black, and then the white on here with some additional white varies the impressions a little bit. I think I'll go back in and I'll do that on here. I'll put a little bit of extra tint on here with some gray tones and a little bit of the white tones in the lighter areas, and I think it'll make these moons a little bit more kind of dimensional. So we'll try that out. Glad you like it, Erica. Thanks for joining in and checking it out. All right, folks. So, on these papers right here, I really like doing like a little matting. What I do is I put a little bit of white around it like that, if there is a little bit of white in there. And then what I think looks really good on this type of paper, and it's also because I have a gazillion of it, but I really like that gold on there like that. So this little bit of a thin strip of it, and I think that little thin strip of that like that, it really brings out these little highlights in here because you have this little thin little white area like that. And see the the mist, I think, kind of pop out a little bit more, you know, with that little kind of double, you know, matting type of concept. And then, I don't know, this little gold on here, it could be really like bright like that, but it's most of the times it just kind of looks like this. So, you know, in just normal lighting like that. So, I don't know, it's a little bit of an extra kind of look to it, or feature of your end card. You know, because we're starting off with a, you know, type of paper right here in the vintage paper that's, you know, I mean, it's supposed to look kind of dull and weathered and, you know, aged, you know, because it's vintage. So I like putting on that little extra little strip on there. It's a little bit brighter like that. So anyways, that's all I'll probably do on this one. All right, folks. Thanks for checking out this relatively quick card. I could have done this one faster, but I wanted to add in all these little extra little things on here just because it's like my first little alien swing set scenario. And sometimes when the card's like coming along too fast, I'm feeling like, yeah, it seems like I need to add more. You know, it came together too fast, so little tiny details in here like the angle of the swing and stuff like that, but you really don't need to do that though, like at all, or that background little imagery in there. You can come up with a really quick scenario. And like I was saying before, I think the really cool one would be a little ghost in here done on the glow in the darks, and the you know, the glow in the dark moon in there. I think that'd be really fun. So future scenario here. All right, folks, have a great rest of evening. Hope to see you on the next live.